The phone buzzed on the dashboard, its screen glowing like a warning flare in the dim morning light. I froze, one hand on the steering wheel, the other clutching a lukewarm coffee. My wife's name, Leah, pulsed on the screen. Each vibration, a needle in my chest. 15 minutes ago, she'd spat those words. My day would be great without you today. Her voice had been sharp, slicing through the quiet of our kitchen in our townhouse on Maple Street in Portland, Oregon, her eyes avoiding mine as she stirred her tea. I'd left without a word, the door clicking shut behind me like a verdict. Now she was calling. My thumb hovered over the screen, torn between dread and a flicker of hope. What could she want so soon? The car smelled of leather and stale air freshener, the engine humming softly as I idled at a red light on Burnside. Outside, the city woke in slow motion. Dog walkers, delivery trucks, a jogger's breath clouding in the chilly September air. I stared at the phone, my pulse thudding in my ears. Maybe she regretted it. Maybe she'd apologize. Her voice soft like it used to be when we'd lie tangled in bed, whispering about nothing. Or maybe she'd double down, her words colder this time. Final. I swiped to answer, my throat tight. Leah? Derek, where are you? Her voice was high, afraid, not angry, but something else. Panic, guilt. You didn't say where you were going. I frowned, gripping the wheel harder. You said you didn't want me around. I left like you asked. The light turned green, but I didn't move. A horn blared behind me. I didn't mean it like that, she said, words tumbling out too fast. I needed space. Can you come back, please? Something twisted in my gut. Space. That word had been creeping into our conversations lately, vague and heavy, like fog rolling in off the Willamette. I thought of her this morning, standing at the counter in her faded blue robe, dark hair pulled back, revealing the tense line of her jaw. She hadn't looked at me, not really, not for weeks. What's going on, Leah? I asked, my voice low, searching for a crack in her tone. Nothing. I miss you. Her pause was too long, her breath uneven. Please come home. I pulled into a Chevron station parking lot on Northeast Sandy, the neon sign flickering above me. My mind churned. Leah didn't beg. She was fire and steel, the woman who'd once thrown a glass of wine at me during an argument, laughing as it shattered against the wall, then kissed me before the stain could dry. This wasn't her. I wanted to believe it was love pulling her back, but the weight in my chest whispered something darker. I'll be there in 10, I said, ending the call before she could say more. The drive home was a blur of red lights and half-formed thoughts. Our townhouse loomed ahead, its gray siding dulled by years of Pacific Northwest rain. I parked, hands trembling as I locked the car. The elevator in the building across the street would have been faster, but I took the stairs 2 at a time. The door was unlocked. I stepped inside. The air was thick with the scent of her lavender candle burning on the coffee table. The living room was too tidy. Cushions fluffed, coasters aligned, not a speck of dust. It felt staged, like a set for a play I hadn't rehearsed. Leah, I called, my voice echoing off the hardwood. In here, she answered from the bedroom, her tone softer now, almost fragile. I moved toward the sound, each step heavier than the last. The hallway stretched before me, lined with framed photos, us at Cannon Beach, her laughing in my old University of Oregon hoodie, our wedding day at Edgefield, her veil catching the wind. Each image felt like a lie now, a relic from a life that no longer fit. I paused at the bedroom door, hand on the knob. The air felt charged, like the moment before a storm breaks. She was sitting on the bed, back to me, shoulders hunched. Her robe had slipped, exposing the curve of her neck, the skin I used to kiss when words weren't enough. The room was dim, curtains drawn, the only light spilling from a cracked lampshade. "Derek," she said without turning. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that." I stood frozen, eyes scanning the room. Something was off. The bed was made, but the comforter was slightly askew. One corner tucked too tightly. Her phone lay face down on the nightstand next to a glass of water she hadn't touched. And there, on the floor, half hidden by the bed skirt, a man's sock, not mine. Black, ribbed, unfamiliar. My heart slammed against my ribs. "Leah," I said, voice steady despite the fire in my chest. "Whose sock is that?" She turned, eyes wide, lips parting as if to speak but finding no words. The silence was deafening, heavier than any shout. I stepped forward, picked up the sock. Its fabric was rough against my fingers. "Whose is this?" I repeated, holding it up like evidence. "Derek, it's not—" She stopped, hands twisting in her lap. Her face was a map of guilt, eyes darting to the floor, the ceiling, anywhere but me. "It's nothing. Probably from the laundry. A mix-up." A mix-up. My voice cracked, anger bleeding through. "You call me back here begging, and there's a stranger's sock in our bedroom. Explain it, Leah. Now." She stood, robe slipping further, hands shaking as she reached for me. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered, tears welling. "It was a mistake. A stupid, awful mistake." The room spun. I backed away, the sock still in my hand, its weight unbearable. "Who?" I asked, voice barely audible. "Who was here?" She shook her head, tears spilling now. "It doesn't matter. It was once. I swear. I was lonely, and you've been so distant, and I... Don't blame me for this." My mind raced, piecing together the signs I'd ignored. The late nights at work, the locked phone, the way she'd flinch when I touched her. How had I missed it? Or had I known deep down and chosen to look away? I sank onto the bed, the sock falling to the floor. The room felt smaller, walls closing in. "Was it worth it?" I asked, not looking at her. Was he worth breaking us? She knelt before me, hands on my knees, voice trembling. "No. God, no. I love you, Derek. I was stupid. I was scared. I thought I was losing you, and I..." "Stop!" I stood, pushing past her, chest tight with rage and grief. I grabbed her phone, screen still warm. "Unlock it," I said, holding it out. She hesitated, eyes pleading. "Derek, please. You don't need to..." My voice was steel now, unyielding. She took the phone, fingers trembling as she typed the code. I snatched it back, scrolled through her messages. There it was, a name I didn't know. Ryan. A string of texts from last night this morning. "Can't wait to see you again. Miss you already." He's gone. Doors unlocked. I dropped the phone. Vision blurred. The room was silent, except for her sobs. Soft, broken. I looked at her. Really looked. And saw a stranger. Someone I'd loved, trusted, built a life with. Now fractured beyond repair. "I'm leaving," I said, the words tasting like ash. For good this time. As I walked out, her voice followed, desperate, cracked. "Derek, wait." We can fix this. But the door slammed shut, and the photos in the hall seemed to watch me go, their smiles mocking. I stepped into the stairwell, chest hollow. And as the heavy fire door closed behind me, I realized the twist. The betrayal wasn't just hers. I'd betrayed myself, ignoring the truth for far too long.